Hi everyone, so in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make what I like to call a ghost drag race in Gran Turismo 2. This is not really a hack and doesn't require you to modify the code of the game in any way, and it certainly doesn't require any modification of your hardware like your console or the computer you're using. So this should also work if you're using an emulator. I'm actually just using a real PS1 with a regular copy of Gran Turismo 2, which I bought legally off eBay. So just to run us in, just so I'm being absolutely clear about what I mean by ghost, as in ghost replay here, it's basically just a visual representation of where you've driven on a track in a racing game. It tends to be a racing game trait, but rather than just the game giving you a lap time as a reference to how fast you've gone, you'll get a visual animation which is recorded in the background, and then once you complete your lap you can try and beat it. So the only one you have to beat is yourself. That's the first step of the ghost drag race. This is what we're going to exploit, so we have to make a ghost replay first. So if we select single player, and that's the only mode this will work in, and we're going to also select time trial, although you can in theory use rally mode for this exploit. Road race will not work because you're racing against the computer. In theory can work on rally mode, but I'm just going to show you a race on tarmac rather than gravel. So we select a car first. I'm just going to use something out of my home garage. It's been a while since I played this game, but I can just about remember what we've got. You can use absolutely any car you wish in the game. You can use anything. So I'm going to go for the BMW 323 Ti Compact. And to select a track, that's pretty simple. I'm going to go for test course because there's a really nice long straight on that, and obviously the concept of a drag race is that you're racing really fast in a straight line, so a long straight is often ideal. Although having said that, you can use any track you wish, such as Autumn Ring. However, the straight length is marked on the left. That's only 425 meters. Which, if you've got quite a powerful car which does 1,000 meters in under 9 seconds, it's not necessarily going to be ideal. It'll be a very short race. So the game will, once it loads, it will start you off in what it regards as the correct direction, as we see here. But what I like to do usually is turn the car around and go in the wrong direction. And the reason for this is that on this particular track, I like to start from the 0 meter mark. In other words, the start of the straight, the very start of the straight section of the track, which gives us plenty of room to play with when we're racing. So I'm just heading over there now. And as we approach the start of the straight length, we're going to try and line the car up so it's as kind of straight as possible, because if possible we want to avoid trying to correct the steering of the car later on down the line. And so now the next stage is to choose a time. You can see the timer going in the top left hand corner, but we want to choose a time where we're going to set off, where we're going to actually start the race. And this is completely arbitrary, so you can choose any time you like really. But 1 minute 40 is a nice, even rounded number for me. So we're just coming up to that time now. So 1 minute 40 start. And we're just going to belt it out to the 1,000 meter finish line. So now we've completed that little run, the next stage is to complete one lap of the track, because without doing so the Ghost Replay file won't complete recording, basically. And if you were to quit right now, then the recording of that file would cancel. So as we speak right now, the game is recording a Ghost Replay file, or a replay file as well, frame by frame, and I can't remember what the exact file sizes are for these files, so you only have a limited amount of time to do this. But what I usually find is that as long as you complete one lap of this track in under 5 minutes, then you're generally fine. For smaller tracks it will be different. You'll have more time to complete a lap. So I'm just going to drive all the way around and cross the finish line, and then we can save the Ghost Replay file. So this is very important. So we're now coming up to the finish line, where the Ghost Replay will actually start to play. So it will have recorded, which you will see in a moment. So there it is, the same car, and it's exactly what we did on the last lap. So it will turn around as we've just done, and we are going to follow that car around, because it's going to take us to the start line where we're going to begin the race. I mean, let's face it, he's absolutely asking for it, so we're going to have to race him. And just like before, we're going to line the car up, but to make things look a bit more interesting, we're just going to park up alongside the Ghost, because you could, if you wanted to, you could just park in the same place and you'd be passing through that object, because it's a ghost, it's not physical. And here it's important to remember your start time, which you will have defined when you were creating the Ghost, which in this case it's 1 minute 40, but as I said before, it's completely arbitrary and you can choose pretty much any time you like. $800, $900, 1 kilometer, and that's the race. So that's what I mean by a ghost drag race. So you're just racing against the ghost in a straight line. So once you've had enough, you can exit, but before we exit completely, we have to save the Ghost Replay. And normally what I like to call the file is just the name of the car and drag, just to denote that it's a drag race as opposed to a circuit race. So you can create multiple Ghost Replay files. So to demonstrate how we can use this Ghost Replay further, we're just going to select a different car, and normally to make things interesting I'll try and choose cars with similar power outputs, but I'm actually going to go with the HKS Drag 180SX, which is based on a Nissan 180SX, but just turned into an absolute beast. So we're actually going to load the Ghost Replay file of the previous car the BMW. So as you can see, the blue BMW is going to turn around anytime now. And so now we're going to repeat the procedure by following it to the start line. Same procedure, we're going to line the car up. And the BMW is going to get slaughtered. And if you remember, the 1 minute 40 start time is what we're going to be using. And this just about concludes the tutorial on how to make a ghost race of the drag. And just to close, some of you out there might be aware that there was going to be a game mode in Gran Turismo 2, which was basically designed as a drag race game mode, where you could pit two cars against each other and race in a straight line, etc. But this never quite made it to the game. I think the reason was CD-ROM space, I'm not really sure. But either way, I thought, what's the next best thing we can come up with? And this was it. So as naff as it may be, I enjoyed making this, and I hope you enjoyed watching it and learned something. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching.